Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Killing Floor 2 on the Steam Deck. So this game is not verified, it says playable, some functionality is not accessible with default controller configuration, blah blah blah, shows mouse, keyboard, non-Steam Deck controls, entering some text requires manually invoking the on-screen keyboard. So far I didn't run into those issues about not having controller prompts on screen. When you first launch the game though, it takes forever to load the game. So, I mean, when you launch it, even if it's the first time, the second time, it's like 1.5 minutes of wait. I know it's not a big deal, but in a game like this that you want to just pick up and play it, just be mindful of that. So, settings are 800p, variable frame rates, so I'll show you unlock frame rates first. These are the settings. The only thing I kept on ultra was texture resolution. I lowered the SSAO to SSAO, now HBAO+, real-time reflections on. If you're targeting 90 FPS on the OLED Steam Deck, turn this off. Otherwise, everything like this should be fine. So why am I leaving so much room to spare on this one? Well, if you have an OLED Steam Deck, you're probably targeting 90 FPS, because that's the refresh rate of the screen. That's why I have unlocked frame rates. But also, this game can get pretty taxing when you are with a lot of enemies and another co-op people playing with you, which I think is the biggest thing about this game. But this game is badass, I really love it. I've been also playing this on PS5. They actually released an improvement for it. It now runs at 6 FPS, believe it or not. And when you're playing endless mode, that basically is what the name suggests. Endless amount of zombies coming at you. So it ends when you die, basically. Was dropping frames on PS4, now on PS5 is fine. So that's why, again, I'm leaving room to spare here. And this is Unreal Engine 3, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I think it's Unreal Engine 3. And then I'm Killing Floor 3, actually. So I'm heavily looking forward to that one. Again, this is if I'm also looking for a 90 FPS thing. But my advice, again, apart from lowering the settings like this, is to disable real-time reflections. This is just screen space reflections. But it's a massive performance increase, especially, I mean, considering that the ground has reflections in many levels. And it's just an extra thing that the GPU doesn't have to do now. So it should stay over 90 most of the time. Again, when you're playing endless mode or with more than 3 or 4 players, it's probably going to drop below 90. But that's just a thing that I'm suggesting for Steam Deck OLED users. If you're like me and have an LCD Steam Deck, so 60 Hz, you're probably going to want to lock it to 60 for battery life thing and not wasting power. So what we're doing is enable these reflections, because we can do it. We apply, and then we lock it to 60. Alright, so the battery is now doing its job. We have, according to this, it will be like 3 hours of battery. I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit less, maybe 2.5 hours when there's nothing going on.
Time's up. Go kill some Zeds.
So yeah, it depends on the amount of enemies on screen. I don't expect the game to drop below 60. There might be a couple stutters here and there when you've played for the first time. So this was an issue even on Unreal Engine 3. And if you want slightly more battery, disable the reflections completely, which we did for the 90 Hz configuration. But just remember, when you're playing with more people on bigger maps, there will be more enemies. So that's going to be a bigger hit to the hardware. Also, if you have multiple grenades being thrown, well, that affects the GPU as well, especially if you're using the freezing grenade. That's a big hit to the GPU. But otherwise, it's a super satisfying game. I have lots of hours on it. I played so much of this. It's kind of ridiculous. but it does get old if you don't play with other people. Pretty repetitive, but that's the thing about this game. It's a co-op shooter thing that you can also play on your own. And there's lots of mods as well. So I'm going to show you a couple modded maps just for you to laugh a little bit. So let's jump into those right away. Okay, so just for the laughs, there is a bikini atoll level. As you can see, the first time you get into a level, you get some stutters. And this map is actually a little bit more demanding, which is kind of interesting. So there you go, this is what the community has been up to. It's pretty hilarious actually. I love that they did some cell shading on this map. It's actually super interesting that I got this out. And it's not only the Krusty Krab, it's also the rest of the city. And it actually looks pretty detailed considering it's just a mod. Although the enemy spawns, I think could use some work. But still. It's funny to have this. Also, there's a lot of shadow casting lights.
Come see me. The pod's safely open.
Which is super cool.
Nicely done.
We have Mario 64. As you can see, the first shot has a huge stutter. Pretty normal, unfortunately, in this game. And the spawns in this level are pretty trash, in my opinion. When it comes to... I mean, you can clearly tell where they are going to come from. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty good looking map. It's pretty funny. Never expected to be here. But they did it, so... Nintendo, keep your nose off of this one, please. But it's pretty funny. So yeah, they did a great job with this one actually. Not sure if they took it directly from the game.
Excellent. That's neat.
I think it's pretty fun. Just seeing blood all over the place is kind of weird. But I'll take it. So yeah, what's my conclusion on this? Well, Killing Floor 2 works great on Steam Deck. It just takes 1.5 to 2 minutes to get into the game every time. I don't know why it takes so long to load. Same thing happened for me on my main PC. So maybe it's a game thing. Even on an NVMe drive, I had that issue. But the game itself, if you're targeting 60, it's just fine. The thing is, if you're playing endless mode and you're targeting 90 maybe on an OLED Steam Deck, you're going to suffer with that. Because, well, when there's lots of enemies on screen plus 3 other people maybe, you're going to drop below 90. That's why I recommend turning off reflections in that case. Then if you're targeting 60s, no problems whatsoever. You can cap it to 60, around 2 hours of battery, give or take. Even longer if you lower the settings quite a bit. You can play mods just fine from the workshop.
Glad to see you made it.
And with a controller, the game works just fine. I didn't have any problems with the gamepad. Even no menus that were like bothering you because of having a gamepad, which is great. So do I recommend it on Steam Deck? Absolutely, it works great. And it looks good as well. It's native resolution in the end. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys.